Hello friends, welcome to the Teacher Transformation Program English. In English, you have to do an assignment based on the learning environment. See, the assignment is that prepare a write-up based on the trends in the English language learning environment, reflecting on the class observation by using the relevant indicators. How will you do this assignment? For this, first of all, you have to observe a class based on the indicators. So, what are the learning indicators? So, we know that these indicators need to be based on a constructivist English classroom. So, we need to know what are the salient features of a constructivist English classroom. Therefore, we can have a discussion based on the features of an English classroom, the learning environment of a constructivist English classroom. So first of all, I think we can start from the part of the learner. See, you know the peculiarities of the learner. We know that each and every learner is unique. That their attitudes are different, their aptitudes are different, their skills are different, their competencies are different, and therefore the teacher need to consider the attitudes, the aptitudes, the skills, the strengths, the opportunities, the competencies, the weakness of each and every learner. So consider the learning style. You know that the learning style of each and every student are different. So some of them will be visual learners, some of them will be oral learners, some of them will be pragmatic learners. So the style of learning of each and every student is different, and a teacher need to consider the style of learning. And considering the learning speed, some learners may learn very quickly, and for some of the learners it will take enough time to learn. Therefore, the learning speed is also different. See, the teacher need to consider all these aspects of the learner. So now we can conclude, and then we can fix one of the learning indicator of a constructivist English class is that the learning activities given are based on the nature, the style of learning, the learning speed, the prerequisites, and the limitations of the learner. Now we know that a teacher can lead the learning activities effectively in an English classroom only based on the responses of the children. So the responses are very, very important. So we know that we follow the child-centered approach. So the child or the learner is the center of the class. Therefore, the opinions of the learners are very, very important. Then what the teacher need to do? The teacher need to equip each and every student to raise questions. So raising questions are very, very important for a constructivist classroom. You know that it is promoted by the critical pedagogy also. That means, you know that the critical pedagogy says that where the students are not taught questioning, there exists hegemony. According to Antonio Gramsci, education should be a counter-hegemony movement. That means asking questions are very, very important. The students need to ask questions. The students need to question the authenticity of knowledge. The students need to raise questions like that: how this knowledge is produced, why this knowledge is produced, what's the intention behind the producer of this knowledge. So these types of questions need to be asked by the children regarding each and every part of the knowledge. That means the sources of the knowledge need to be questioned by the children. They have to analyze the source of knowledge and they have to derive their own conclusions. Anyway, the students should be given some freedom to asking their doubts, to raise the questions, and to put forward their opinions like that. So the teacher need to provide enough opportunities for them to put forward their own suggestions and their own opinions. Now we can fix another item of a constructivist English classroom is that the opinions, suggestions, doubts, questions will be raised among the students and between the students and the teachers. See, what's the role of an English teacher? What's the role of a teacher? We know that the teacher should be a facilitator. That means the teacher should facilitate the teaching learning activities in the classroom. You know what happens in the classroom? That the students are constructing the knowledge. So this knowledge construction process is to be facilitated by the teacher. The teacher needs to be a facilitator. And you know that the world is changing. New innovations are coming and new inventions are coming. New discoveries are coming. For what the teacher need to do? The teacher need to learn along with the students. Therefore, we can say that the teacher need to be a co-learner. Teacher should learn along with the students. That means the teacher should update herself. The teacher should update herself or himself. The teacher's current knowledge need to be updated. That means the teacher should be a co-learner. And now another role of the teacher is that the teacher should be a diagnostician. That means, what do you mean by diagnostician? The teacher need to find out the strengths, the weakness of each and every child. That means the teacher need to observe each and every child and to find out their problems. Their issues need to be found out by the teacher. And based on their issues, the teacher need to develop another plan. The remedial measures need to be developed by the teacher based on these issues found out by the teacher. We know that what happens in the classroom is that the teacher will be finding out the issues, finding out the strengths of the students or the issues, and it is noted down in the teaching manual. So based on these responses, the teacher will be developing the next day's plan. That we know. And therefore the teacher need to be a diagnostician. Another role of a teacher is that the teacher need to be a democratic leader. Actually, the teacher is not an authoritarian in the classroom. The teacher is not giving some directions, or teacher is not giving knowledge, or teacher is not providing knowledge. Teacher is not a provider of knowledge. Teacher is a leader. That means teacher is leading all the activities in a democratic way. So we can say that the teacher need to be a democratic leader. Thus, we can conclude another feature of a constructivist English classroom is that that means the teacher works as a facilitator, a co-learner, a diagnostician, and a democratic leader. And now, what are the process of learning? You know, what's the process of learning? How the teaching learning process happens in the classroom? In the English class, we follow the discourse-oriented pedagogy. You know that the discourses are spiraled in the classroom. The teacher will help the students to construct the discourses in the classroom. A number of discourses are provided in the classroom. See, the teacher gives a particular learning activity in the classroom. The students will take up this learning activity effectively, and they will construct the discourse, and the teacher will help them. See, for that, what's the planning of the teacher? The teacher need to plan all those things in a very effective way. The teacher need to create a free situation in the classroom, a fearless situation in the classroom, a natural situation in the classroom. From this free, fearless, natural situation, the students are expected to acquire the language. So the acquisition is very important. The acquisition should need to happen in a natural way, not in an artificial way, in a natural way. So such type of natural situation need to be created by the teacher, and therefore the teacher need to plan effectively. Then only the teacher can create a natural, organic situation in the classroom. See, the discourses are spiraled in the classroom. The students need to be given enough opportunities for them to construct the discourses. For that, we know, first of all, the teacher will create a context in the classroom. A context in the form of a story, or from in the form of a poem, or in the form of a narrative, or in the form of any linguistic form. The teacher will be providing a context in the classroom. See, from the context, the teacher will be raising the the thought process of the children. The teacher will be leading the thought process of the children towards doing a particular learning activity. That's what happens in the classroom. Sometimes the teacher will ask certain questions for triggering the inner language competence of the students. Sometimes the teacher can ask some free response questions. For these questions, there will be a number of answers. So from these answers, the teacher will lead the children towards the learning activity. So that is very important. For that, the teacher need to plan very, very effectively. So the teacher lead the children towards a particular learning task, and providing enough learning support while doing the learning activities is also very important. And then after taking up the learning activity, the students will be doing that in a very effective way. At that time, the teacher need to intervene in the group activities or the individual activities or which activity that happens in the classroom. And therefore, this planning is very important. The process is called scaffolding is very important. The teacher will scaffold the children to move from the current ability level to the potential ability level. We know that our pedagogy is based on the social constructivism. Here the Lev Vygotsky, the proponent of the social constructivism, says that the teacher need to scaffold the children to move from the current ability level to the potential ability level. See, what's the scaffolding process? The current ability level, at the time of the individual writing, each and every student will be at the current ability level. They write with their own vocabulary, their own grammatical structures, and their own ideas. See, the teacher need to raise them from that level to the expected level. So this process should happen in the classroom. This process is called scaffolding, according to Vygotsky. So this should happen in the English classroom also. This scaffolding should happen in the English classroom. See how this scaffolding happens? So by intervening the group activity, or by intervening the individual activity. So in each and every activity, the teacher will be providing enough support for them. So this support plan need to be developed by the teacher. So actually, in the whole classroom process need to be planned by the teacher very effectively. The micro level planning of the teacher is very, very important. And therefore, we can conclude one another feature of a constructivist English class is that the learning activities in the classroom are planned carefully and implemented in the classroom by giving emphasis to learning process. That means the process is very, very important. The teacher's planning, the teacher's comprehensive planning, or the teacher's micro level planning, everything need to be based on the learning process. That is another indicator. So we can discuss the further indicators in the next class. Thank you.